Nowadays, when I see clients, I tend not to spend too long talking about inheritance tax. The rules changed a few years ago, allowing most couples up to 1 million of allowances before their estate would be taxable. This is enough for a lot of people. This is where my lawyer hat comes in, and I would just add a disclaimer to say it is worth having a chat to check you are covered by these allowances, if you are worried, as it doesn't apply to everybody. Because people are not so worried about their assets that they would have accumulated and worked hard for over their lifetime going to the taxman, they're now looking at a different possible threat to inheritance, and this is care home fees. We all know that people are generally living for longer and therefore more likely to need care at some point in their future. We also know that the cost of care can be astronomical, and people are worried about this eating up all or a large portion of what they would like to leave to their loved ones. Some people want to know that their money works for them, and if they need care, they want access to all their funds to ensure they can afford to stay somewhere nice. For others, this is a real concern, and they'd like to know that the options and if there is anything they can do. With this in mind, I do raise the option of asset protection wills. They're slightly more complex to discuss and put into place at the time of writing the wills. They look to protect the main asset of the couple, which, for most people, is the family home. It works where one of the couple dies but does not leave their share of the home to the survivor. Instead, they leave it into a trust where the survivor has the right to live in the property for the rest of their life, or it can be subject to certain other conditions. If care is ever needed, half of the house is out of reach for consideration as to how much the survivor needs to contribute towards their own costs, and it belongs to the trust and not the person now needing care. This means the surviving partner can continue to live in the property as they would if they owned it outright, but halves the risk of the house being used towards care costs. There are various details that would need to be discussed on how this works in full, and this would be something we would cover as part of the will writing service. If this is something that you believe could be of interest to you, please do contact us or get a quote from our website.